Now we're gonna work a darce from our guard position. I'm gonna hit this one off of an arm drag. So let's start. Ready?
Such a scrub.
Ready? All right, guys. So now I'm gonna show you a darce from guard. This one's off of an arm drag 6 setup that I love to use and that we both do a lot. So let's jump into it. So this one works great for gi and no gi. Most of these techniques are, you can use them both gi and no gi that we've gone over. But just starting, this is for when your opponent's on your knees, and even when they're standing, I use this. It doesn't matter whichever one you want to do. First grip though, it's just like a regular arm drag. I'm just going to go to the wrist, and then my other arm is going to be gripping right around the back of his bicep, kind of right here, up in his armpit almost. Okay. Now, I want to make sure that you want to make sure your grips are really strong here. You don't want to have like loose grips because you don't want them to rip out, obviously. Okay, so I'm keeping a nice strong wrist control, nice good grip, monkey grip here. Now, pretty simple. All I need to do is get my left leg. If I'm attacking his right arm, I'm gonna get my left leg on the outside, and I'm gonna start stepping on the far leg with my free leg. Right. Now, what this does is it breaks his posture a lot. And it almost forces him to post his free hand, right? By pulling here. Now, I do have the option to go to the back. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a bit too far to go to the back, or if I'm hunting for the submission, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna shoot this arm all the way through, and I'm gonna have my darce right here. Now, with this darce, when I arm drag and I shoot the darce through, you almost have to roll through with it, kind of like a diving darce from top. Where if you get the grip, you're gonna have to start rolling through right away. And then I'm gonna be able to sprawl my hips back and finish the darce. Super simple, but super effective. And so you can be on your knees or standing, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it on this side now. I'm gonna grab the wrist, I'm gonna grab up towards the armpit, get this leg up, and now I'm doing it on this side, so I'm going to be stepping on this leg. Right, so the opposite side you have the arm. And I'm stretching him out, making him post his hand, so I'm going to shoot this arm through and lock up the darce. Now from here, a lot of times if you get the darce tight enough, you'll be able to chop down on this outside arm and just roll them this way too. That way you don't have to do the full roll over your back. And then drop your hips. I'm changing. So here, control the wrist, up in the bicep, step out, bring the arm all the way through. Also, when I'm bringing this arm through, I'm looking for the back of the neck, right? So basically I'm using this grip to pull him to me, and this arm just driving all the way through to the point where I just can see my if you can see your whole hand, you're in the clear, right? You'll be able to see your hand, and that's where your biceps gonna go. Now, if possible, if there's enough room before you go for the roll, try to get this foot, and sometimes it can be a little bit awkward rolling over the side and keeping the darce. You're gonna have to like kind of float your hips and then finish from here, which just still works great, but I prefer once you get to here, if you can get this leg through, it's gonna be a lot easier to roll under. Like I said, just a constant squeeze. Depending on the darce, usually the people will tap just because of the pain first. It's almost like I said, when we're doing the darce and we're just bringing our wrist through, we're not bringing our entire arm, it's going to be a lot more painful. You're going to feel a lot more of a crank. So if I can get it just with my wrist right here, using my wrist bone straight into his neck and my chest on the other side, squeezing. See, he's already tapping, and he's not tapping because of the choke. He's tapping because of like the pain in his neck. It's almost like a crank. So, anything you want to add? I'll just show it one time. Yeah, so I prefer to do this when they're on the knees. I still do it when he's on the feet as well. I just prefer to do it when they're on the knees. But yeah, same thing. Just control. I'll go ahead and show it full speed. I'll turn around a little. And another thing you can do as well is you can take the leg out and then kind of get to a sprawling position from here, you know? And if you want to go to the back, say you're not confident in your dars, then you can go to the back, or you can roll through and try and finish the dars from on top of that control. That's another way to finish, but no. Super effective technique, works really great. So now I'm going to teach probably one of my favorite techniques from the double under pass. This is a really good submission from double unders, and this is one of the submissions I use most. So excited to show you guys this one. So this is just going to come from the classic double under pass, right? So there's oftentimes I'll get to this pass and I have the ability to stack and do all that good stuff, but sometimes I just feel like I can never get around, or I just can't get the pass. Maybe I'm fighting a flexible opponent, or just someone has a really good guard, and I just can't seem to get past this double unders, right? So what I can do from here is, so the first thing I'm gonna do, just to show good double under classic, is just locking your hands together, pulling tight, and then pinching your elbows, right? I also try to keep my shoulders to my ears so it doesn't do any no-arm triangles, and those can get really annoying, so definitely try to keep the shoulders to the ears and your head pinched back. But here, this is just a classic good dars. Always on your toes, never your feet flat. So good classic double unders, sorry. But from here, I'm just going to start driving pressure forward and shuffling my feet up, right? As soon as I can feel I can get my chest underneath, then I'm just going to stay here. Right? The longer we stay here, the better. No one is ever comfortable in this position. So the more pressure I put on him, the better. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take whatever my dominant hand is, I'm going to start creeping. Come this way a little bit. I'm going to start creeping around his neck, right? So I'm going to open up my lock, and then I'm going to just start creeping around his neck like this, right? I almost get like a reverse grip right here on his neck. So put your legs down. This is what it starts to look like. It's just like a reverse grip, palm down on his neck right here. All right, so back in double unders, right? Got you real sharpened up. Have good control here. I'm gonna get like a reverse grip on his neck. Now from here, I'm going to slide my hand. I'm gonna keep pulling my hand through, and then I'm going to start walking my hips back. When I start to walk my hips back, it's gonna collapse his arm in front of his chest, and it's gonna leave a lot of opportunity for me to dars him. So now all I have to do, my hand's already through, all I have to do is connect my hands and then sprawl my hips. And you should tap from there. Alright, so we're here in double unders, right? Our opponent is really flexible and he's not letting us get to the side, right? Say we're trying to get to the side, but he won't let us pass. So instead, all we have to do is try to get to this side, and he won't let us pass. All we have to do is kind of reverse, grab his neck right here, palm down, and then switch your hips. You want to make sure you switch your hips in front of this elbow, right? So we have pressure. We're trying to come around to this side. He's not letting us. He's blocking our hips, right? So grab, switch our hips, and then walk back. Walk back, walk back, walk back. Then look, my hands right here. I'm just ready for my bicep. And then all I have to do is sprawl out and squeeze. Right, again. From a different angle. So, shoulders by your ears to make sure you don't get triangle. Good grip right here. I'm going to push forward, walk my legs up. If you want, you can stay here with your knee behind the back too. You can stay here all day long. It keeps his hips elevated. And it's a good way just to keep his hips elevated and controlled. But we're going to just go palm down right by his neck and switch my hips. And as I'm walking back, I'm getting my right hand deeper and deeper. Notice how as I'm walking back, this hand's coming further and further through this one. And it's just ready for me to Catch it with my bicep, and then squeeze. Sprawl if you have to. Do you have anything you wanted to show from that position? No? I'll show it a couple times full speed. Just say we're passing. Here. Stack, stack, stack. Alright. Like my brother said before, like when you have the Darce, especially this Darce, you know? It's important to stay, just make sure that your thumb is up and that your wrist is driving into his neck. That's the most important part for this technique, right? Because this arm is helping my elbow. This left arm is helping my elbow come up, and making sure that this part of your arm is in the neck is super important. So we're just gonna get this, rest it right here, thumb right above the neck. Grab the bicep and then squeeze. I'll show it one more time full speed. Alright guys, so this is going to be kind of like our last ditch effort Darce, is what I'm going to call it. It's for when your opponent takes your back, and it's starting from, you know, the original bringing the arm over escape from the back, but we're just going to modify it to Darce. Good. So let's say I slipped up pretty bad at my opponent. He got to my back and he's got seatbelt. So first order of operation is I need to tuck my chin and hand fight right away to make sure no chokes are coming on, right? So immediately tucking my chin and hand fighting at the hands, right? So as soon as I realize I'm safe from the chokes is when I'm going to start working for an escape. The escape I'm going to do is 2-on-1 on wrist control, and as hard and as fast as I can, I'm basically like a bench press. I'm going to push the lock out as hard as I can and kind of shrivel back like this, and then I'm going to pass it to the other side of my head. Okay, just like so. Just like this is kind of an average escape that most people use, and then just like as part of the fall to the side and escape this way. Say I'm low on time and I'm down by a lot of points, I kind of need a submission, or I see it here, and say it's a sub-only rule set, then it'd probably be smarter just to go for the submission from here. So what I like to do is, whenever I bench press, I bring the arm to the other side of the body, and then their head, I obviously know is close to me because they're on my back. So all I'm going to do is fish for the back of their head using my left hand while still pulling down on the wrist with my right. Okay, so just like this, boom. Once I feel I got the back of his head, I'm going to pull it to me using the hand, and I'm going to turn into him and get this bicep as close as I can to this hand. Now once I get it from here, I'm looking to just simply walk my hips back, or walk my hips up and put my back on it. And I have a super tight Darce from there. Again. So I'm pretty stuck here. I'm going to do a huge push and get the arm on the other side. Say it's still early in the match and I still have a lot of time, or say it's like not a sub-only rule set and you kind of need to get your points back, then it'd probably be better just to go for the back escape. But say in this situation it's a sub-only tournament, or I'm down on points and there's not a lot of time, then I'm going to fish for the back of his head, pulling down on this wrist, and then when I'm ready, just meeting my bicep to my head, walking my hips back, and hip again to him. It looks like an awkward angle, but as soon as you get the grip, it's pretty much game over. It's actually almost tighter than a regular Darce because of how much leverage you have from there. It's crazy. So one more time. So again, sometimes you're not going to be able to punch this all the way out, right? People are going to have really tight seatbelts here. So another thing I can do is push just enough to start to create, just like get like my wrist in, right? So that'll be a lot easier for me to start pushing and prying up and then passing to the other side of my head. Sometimes I'm not going to be able just to push it, right? Or sometimes I might even have to fall to the side and then start working from here. But my goal is just getting the arm on the other side of the head. Alright. So as soon as I get my arm on the other side of my head, I remain pulling on the arm with my right, and my left arm is gonna dig for the back of his neck. Once I find it, I'm pulling his head down and meeting it. And also, this isn't as hard as it looks because usually people's necks aren't too strong, and I feel like I'm pretty strong here in order to pull them down. So it should be fairly easy to get this grip here. The hard part is just getting from here to here. Once you get here, you should be fairly confident to get this grip, and then slowly squeeze. Cool. Anything you want to add? Yeah, so I think it's just one important detail is that when you're going for this submission, it's really important that you pull hard on the wrist. The harder you pull on the wrist, the easier it is going to be for you to get the darce, right? So over here, another thing too is like say our opponent has a tight seat belt and I can't seem to break this grip. Then what I can do, I can just switch to the top one and I take his thumb, place it on the same side as his fingers. That is a lot easier to break the grip. And switch to one, bring it to the other side of my body, keeping this as tense as possible, and then I'm just going to turn my body a little bit. Now from here, I'm just going to reach behind his head, get the grip, and then once you're here, it's over. Or you can come out of the back, which often they'll let you out because they're just stuck, and you can finish. I'll show it one more time. I kind of like it one more time too, to peel another finger. Yeah, so zero on my back, right? He's got a strong seatbelt, can't break that. Just gonna move the thumb to the other side. Right, now he's like a dog with no thumb. He has no grips. Yes, it's easy for me to break the grip. Now I'm going to bring the arm to the other side. Really pulling hard on the arm, and I have to just adjust my shoulder a little bit. Just kind of look into him. And then from here, we're just going to reach back. With this hand, pull down on the crown of his head. And as you pull, I like to pinch with my head, and then this other one comes over. If you feel like you have to start with just this shallow grip first, you can't reach all the way to the bicep, that's fine. You can work there. Just kind of work on the neck, and then when you feel like you're ready to reach, get the grip on the bicep. Most likely, he's not going to want to stay here because he's getting so chill. He's going to want to let you breathe, and then from there, you just finish the darce. Right on. I'll show it one more time full speed. So now we're going to take more of kind of like an old school approach to the darce, and then we're going to hit a darce from bottom in a butterfly guard. Not a lot of people like to pass on their knees nowadays, but people that do, this would be really good to do against them. So start. So we're here in butterfly guard, right? And then our opponent is just staying heavy with good pressure. Right, so from here, you're going to need an overhook and then just some wrist control. Right, so I'm gonna get the overhook. My right hand's my dominant hand, so I'm gonna get the overhook with my right hand here, boom. And I like to get kind of like a shallow overhook, but I take almost like my thumb is like a contact point, and I'm just gonna try and do my best to poke my shoulder pretty much. Right, so I'm just squeezing his shoulder between my bicep and my hand. Right, so I just get here. Right, like I'm almost trying to poke my shoulder. Now I'm just going to focus on this arm. Right, for now, I'm just going to control it. And when I'm ready to sweep, I'm going to pull the arm, and then I'm going to start to elevate him, and then I'm going to let go of his arm, mid-sweep, right? So I'm going to let go of his arm, it's going to make him post, right? So now from here, I'm going to continue to try and lift this leg, and when I feel like I'm ready, all I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle my right knee that's on the mat back, and I'm going to basically move my whole body back to here. Right, so my left knee comes back and then steps up. My right knee replaces where my left knee was, and I end up in this position right here. Now from here, look where his arm is at. It's straight and by his head, which means we're good to go for the darce. So once we get here, it's super simple. We just shoot up, get the grip, and then I'd like to just melt back. Once I'm here, I'll usually get the darts every time. There's a tap there, and I'll roll through and finish from top. Okay, so we're here in butterfly guard. Maybe he tries to get an underhook, right? Boom. We're just gonna get this overhook. I'm trying to point to my shoulder pretty much. That's the pressure I want, right here. All right, now we're going to start sweeping him. I like to control the wrist at the start, just to make it seem like I want this wrist control. In all reality, all I want is for him to post his hand, right? So we're gonna start to sweep. We're gonna let go. Boom, right, and he's posting. I'm gonna get up on my elbow. Right, this is an important detail, is to get up on the elbow, right? So say I'm here. Make sure you get up on the elbow, and then I use this bottom leg to help get my hips up in the air. You know? At the same time, I'm also using this butterfly hook on this leg, almost by his glute actually, to lift him up. All right, so I'm here. Get this knee on the mat, get that elbow on the mat, and then get his leg up in the air, so that we're here. Now from here, my right knee is gonna replace where my left knee is, and my left knee is gonna come up and then post. See how that kind of pulls him towards me? I'm gonna drop my shoulder, put a bunch of pressure on his shoulder, and then whenever I'm ready, I'm just gonna get the darts. Shoot my arm through, grab my bicep, and I'm just gonna melt down and get the tap. Show it one more time. Do it from a different angle. All right, so I'm here. I'm gonna start to hit this angle. I'm gonna lift him up. I'm gonna pinch my arm, and then grab the wrist, let go of the wrist, make him post, and then get up in the air here. All right, this get up is really important. I just get up on my elbow and my knee. All right, so from here, I want to elevate him, and you get up on my elbow and my knee. Boom. Now from here, what I'm going to do, my right knee is gonna replace my left knee. My left leg's gonna step up and out, and then I'm gonna pull him towards me. Right? Make some space straight going to the mat. And from here, I can just kind of grab his head, shoot for the darts. And the bicep, I like to just curl down, and then finish. Is there anything you wanted to show in that position? Pretty much it, yeah. I'll show it out 2 more times. Just maybe full speed this time. Right, so we're here. Come down. Trying to speed. Good time. Go ahead and show it one more time in this angle.